Cardano might be spending $500 million ADA in ecosystem funding. The proposal to increase the net change limit from 350 million to 500 million ADA has officially passed. So in this video, let's look at what big initiative could receive funding in the near future. And there's one in particular that a lot of people are actually waiting for. And also, let's touch on what seems like a full exit of one of Cardano's founding entities, EMURGO. Hi, I'm Linda, and if you'd like to see more content like this, make sure to give me a follow. And remember that this is not financial advice. Always do your own research. So the net change limit is the maximum amount of ADA that can be withdrawn from Cardano's treasury during a set period of time. Until now, that limit was 350 million ADA, and with almost 300 million ADA already allocated, there just wasn't enough room for any bigger treasury withdrawals. So the community voted to raise it to 500 million ADA. If we want to succeed, we kinda have to invest. There's not much point in having one of the biggest treasuries in crypto if we're too afraid to actually use it. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean to fund every proposal that comes along, but if the treasury just sits there doing nothing, well, then it basically also doesn't help anyone either. The biggest proposal that needed the NCL increase is called Alphagrowth Prime. They're asking for 120 million ADA from the treasury to grow Cardano's DeFi ecosystem. And I think there's also another argument here over what the treasury is actually supposed to be used for. I've seen quite a few big D-Reps argue that treasury money should really only pay for basic infrastructure, so things that Cardano actually needs to function rather than funding businesses. And it does make sense. I have to agree, because I also see that point. I just don't think we're in a position where we can actually just afford not to fund business on Cardano. It just won't appear organically anymore, especially when other ecosystems are actively spending money to attract developers and businesses. Now, Alphagrowth is actually working on changing a few things in their proposal after getting feedback from the community, like cutting down the marketing budget. And personally, I think this proposal should get funding. At worst, we spent the money, it doesn't work, and we find out that Cardano just isn't going to succeed as a DeFi chain. I think, if anything, that's worth finding out, because then we can stop trying to force it and just simply make a new plan and invest in other areas where Cardano could actually succeed. Because we've already invested millions in building and funding DeFi protocols on Cardano. We have DEXs, lending protocols, stable coins, really most of what is needed is there. But the DeFi TVL still hasn't grown compared to other chains. And obviously, we can come up with a million different reasons as to why that is. Maybe we're missing certain products, liquidity, and maybe we haven't done enough to bring users from outside of Cardano into the ecosystem. And maybe Cardano just isn't going to become one of the big DeFi chains because we simply missed the train. At some point, we also have to be honest with ourselves. How long do we keep building more DeFi infrastructure and hoping that eventually the users and liquidity will just come? So I would actually rather just make a serious attempt at growing it now and see what happens than keep watering a plant that might already be dead. Obviously, 120 million ADA is a lot of money to just find out, but I also think there's a cost to keep spending years funding DeFi little by little with basically no result. So I personally would give it a shot. Maybe it will fix DeFi, maybe it won't. In either case, I think we will learn something and we'll be a lot smarter afterwards. Now, before we talk about EMURGO exiting the ecosystem, let's take a quick minute for the sponsor of today's video, and that's Tangem. Tangem is a hardware wallet that is designed for everyday people. It comes as a bank card or a smart ring, and that's pretty cool. And as you can see, there are no cables, no screens, no buttons, or any of the complicated onboarding processes. To set it up, all you have to do is get the Tangem app on Google Play or the App Store. And once you've done that, you're ready to send, receive, swap, and earn crypto directly from your phone. They support over 6,000 coins and tokens from over 90 blockchains, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, and many more. All of this works instantly with your smartphone through NFC tap technology. So Tangem really feels more like using Apple Pay while still offering the security of a cold storage. They use the same security mechanism that is applied in traditional banking systems and government security infrastructure. So your private keys are generated and stored inside the chip, and they never leave your device, which should protect you from remote hacks and unauthorized access. Plenty of people are already on board. Over 6 million Tangem cards have been minted all around the world. So if you want to grab one, either the card or the ring, the link is in the description box down below. And you can use my referral code for a 10% discount and 50% off on your second device. You can also earn up to $500 in cashback on eligible swaps, as well as a short offer of a 3x boost on your initial yield rate if you choose to activate the stablecoin yield mode in the app. I genuinely like the products. They're super high quality and they just look great, so make sure to check it out. Now, before we wrap up, there's one more governance update that I would like to touch on. EMURGO announced that they're stepping down from both the Intersect board and their DREP role while they focus on the second DeFi recovery. So if you've been delegating your voting power to EMURGO through UROI, this is something you'll probably want to know about. Once the migration tool launches and you migrate your wallet, your DREP delegation will automatically be removed. After that, you'll have to choose another DREP or change it to auto abstain if you want to keep being able to withdraw your staking rewards. EMURGO was one of the biggest voting powers in Cardano's governance, and once they step away, there will be a lot of money waiting to find a new home. So if you haven't already looked for a new DREP, this is probably the best time to do it. Now, without speculating too much, but to me it really seems like EMURGO is inching closer to a full exit. They've already stepped down from their Pendant team, now their Intersect board, as well as shutting down their DREP. I do hope they will be back though, because we really do need all hands on deck. Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So let me know what you think. Do you agree with raising the NCL to 500 million ADA? And do you think Alphagrowth is worth the $19 million they're asking for? And how do you feel about EMURGO exiting? I know there's probably a lot of people that are pretty happy about it, and I just want to say, that's wrong. Thanks for watching this video, and I hope I'll see you in my next one. Bye.